human wanders a desolate world. Elias Ward had grown accustomed to silence. After 7 years alone on Outpost Helion 4, deep in the remote systems of human space, the sound of his own breathing had become his only true companion. Helion had once been a joint research station between humans and the Ven Empire, but a collapse in diplomacy left it abandoned. Everyone evacuated. Everyone except Elias, whose transfer never arrived, whose files vanished, whose requests for reassignment were swallowed by the bureaucracy of a crumbling government. The solar storms that raged across the pale blue horizon of the outpost were constant reminders. You are alone here. Elias kept himself busy with maintenance, repairing towers that no longer transmitted, recording data no one would ever see, patching leaks in storage units holding long-dried supplies. He liked to pretend someone still cared, but he knew the truth. Helion was forgotten. So was he. That was why the anomaly caught his attention. At first, it was almost nothing. A faint energy signature. A small object descending at high speed into the dunes beyond the outpost. His scanners flagged it for 30 seconds before shutting down again. The power grid was erratic. Could have been debris, a meteor, a malfunction. But Elias hadn't seen anything new in years. He grabbed his breather mask, slung his old plasma cutter over his shoulder, and headed across the dunes. Wind whipped sand into spirals. Stormlight flickered across the sky. His boots sank into the powdery surface with each step. Then he saw the crater. It cut into the dunes like a wound, fresh, still smoking, edges glowing faint blue. Elias approached cautiously, plasma cutter raised. At the center, he froze. Inside the crater, amidst the steaming metal fragments of what had once been a ceremonial pod, was her. A woman or something like one, curled in a fetal position, unconscious, wrapped in ornate silvery silk. Her skin shimmered faint lavender, marked with glowing lines like constellations. Her silver-white hair floated weightlessly around her, despite the planet's gravity. And on her forehead, a royal crest, the bride seal of the Ven Empire, a species long feared, admired, and distant. This woman was not simply alien. She was a Ven Imperial bride, a genetically bonded ceremonial companion for high-ranking nobles. But why was she here? Why alone? Why discarded on a forgotten human outpost? Elias knelt. Her breathing was shallow, her body trembling. Abandoned, dying, left as trash in a storm wasteland. Something inside him, buried under years of loneliness, awoke. He whispered softly, "Hey, I've got you." He lifted her carefully into his arms. Her body instinctively curled toward his warmth. For the first time in years, Elias felt another heartbeat against his chest. He carried her back to the outpost, unaware that this moment would alter the destiny of two species. The bride awakens. When the alien woman opened her eyes, the universe seemed to shift. Elias had spent hours stabilizing her, placing her in the medical pod, warming her body, supplying hydration through a universal purport. He didn't know if it would work, but she lived. Her first words were soft, melodic, broken. "Where am I?" Elias nearly dropped the tray he was holding. "You're awake. You're on Helion, a human outpost. I found you in the dunes." She stared at him, not with fear, but confusion and sadness. "Helion discarded me here." Her voice trembled. Elias didn't know what to say. Discarded? Why would anyone? She sat up weakly, gripping the side of the bed. A faint glow traveled through the constellation markings on her skin. A sign of emotional distress, according to the few Ven files he remembered. "My name is Arivel of House Ven. I was to be bonded in marriage to Lord Cryos. But hours before the ceremony, my house determined I was flawed. They launched me into space as waste." Elias felt something burn inside him. "Flawed? There's nothing wrong with you." Her eyes shimmered with confusion. "You do not feel fear, not repulsion. Humans are supposed to fear us." Elias shook his head. "Not when you look like you're freezing, starving, and terrified." She blinked slowly, reaching a trembling hand toward him. "You are warm." He didn't pull away. Neither did she. The bond forms. In the following days, Arivel learned about Helion. Elias learned about her. She had been created, not born, in a var sanctum, trained in etiquette, diplomacy, and neural link empathy. Brides of her kind were rare, revered, and disposable. Once the bonding rehearsal began, they detected a misalignment in my neural frequencies, she said one evening. It meant I might resist the bonding. They labeled me unstable. Elias clenched his jaw. That's sick. It is tradition. It's cruelty, she replied, almost amused. You are angry for me? Of course I am. She touched the glass, watching storms flash across the sky. You saved me. No one has ever saved a var bride. Well, Elias laughed awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. It was either that or leave you in a crater. Didn't seem very heroic. She stared at him a little too long. You are different from the humans described in our histories, and different from the Vaughn described in ours. Her cheeks glowed faintly. A Varen blush, delicate and shimmering. The Vaughn hunter arrives. One afternoon, while repairing the comm tower, Elias heard Arivel gasp. What's wrong? She pointed at the horizon. Her eyes widened. A Vaughn Razor-class hunter approached. They have come for me, she whispered. Why? You said they dumped you. They must destroy me. A discarded bride is a political threat. If I survive, I could expose their genetic failures. Elias grabbed her shoulders. Then we run. There is nowhere to run. A razor hunter moves faster than wind, faster than sound. How long until they reach us? Minutes. Elias made a decision without hesitation, not logical, not strategic, purely human. He took her hand. Arivel, if we're going to die. She trembled. I need you to know something. She swallowed, trying to steady her breath. What? I'm glad I found you. I'd do it again. 1,000 times. Something shifted in her expression. Fear transformed into something deeper. Elias, humans are strange. Yeah, we get that a lot. The instant marriage ritual. The hunter ship slammed onto the landing pad. 3 armored Vaughn soldiers marched out. Their leader snarled upon seeing Arivel. Defective creation. You were ordered terminated. Elias stepped in front of her. Back off. The Vaughn soldier laughed. You misunderstand, creature. She is not yours. She's not yours either. Elias tightened his grip on the plasma cutter. Arivel gasped softly. No one had ever defended her like this. You would die for her, the soldier mocked. I'd live for her too. Elias didn't blink. The soldier raised his weapon. Then you die first. Arivel stepped forward, pushing Elias behind her. No, her markings flared, bright and fierce. By the right of immediate bonding, I claim this human as my chosen spouse. The soldiers froze. That ritual is for Varen nobles. It is for any bride with autonomy, Arivel replied coldly. By invoking the right, I gain political protection. Killing me now would violate 5 imperial treaties. Elias whispered. You married me? Arivel looked at him shyly. Technically, yes. The lead soldier growled. This is unacceptable. A bride cannot claim a human. File your complaint with the Imperial Council. They could have killed Elias. They could have killed her. But breaking 5 treaties would cause a political disaster. The soldiers left. A new empire of 2. Weeks passed. The storms quieted. The outpost became warm for the first time in years. Arivel learned human cooking, though she burned everything. Elias learned Vaughn customs, though he broke every rule. They laughed, worked together, slept side by side each night, her glowing markings reflecting against his skin like constellations. Their bond wasn't ceremonial. It wasn't strategic. It was real. One evening, Arivel stood with Elias on the viewing deck, watching distant stars. Elias, she whispered, do you regret being tied to me? He wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Not even a little. She tilted her head onto him. The Ven Empire will learn of our union. Let them come. She smiled softly. You speak like a king. And you? He said, brushing his thumb against her crest. Speak like a queen. Her eyes widened. You would want that, Ari. You were never flawed. You were never disposable. You deserve a world, a throne, a place where no one can throw you away. Her markings glowed brighter than ever. And you? She whispered. He kissed her forehead. You. Arivel closed her eyes, trembling. I was made to be a bride, she murmured. But you made me feel like a person, and you made me feel like I wasn't alone. Thunder rolled across the sky as another storm approached. But this time neither feared it. They stood together, human and barren, husband and wife by choice, not tradition. Partners, equals, a bond that defied an empire. Arivel whispered into the rising wind. Together, Elias, we could change everything. He squeezed her hand. We already have. As storm clouds glowed electric blue, their shadows merged on the deck. Two silhouettes against the cosmos. No longer abandoned, no longer alone. Because in a forgotten outpost at the edge of the galaxy, a lonely human had found an abandoned alien bride, and loved her into a future her empire could never imagine. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.